Hello everybody, welcome to Literature in Robes again with your host Jared. We're here today to review a trilogy.
Oh Lord!
On the whole, I have to say that this whole trilogy kind of reads as one story with 3 separate acts. It's very interesting. It's a very fast read, fast-paced, action-packed, lots of mysteries and plot things.
What things?
To untwist and figure out. It's just one of the most fast-paced series of books I've ever read, and Blake Crouch is kind of known for his books and that they are written very, very lean, like there's very little fat.
Carbs are the enemy, you know.
It's just boom, 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 and it helps you read the books way easier and way quicker from moment to moment. Blake Crouch has really got it down. If anyone has read Blake Crouch's Dark Matter novel, then they will understand Blake Crouch's MO. He's a quick, fast-paced, get it done, get through the book type of writer, and boy, does it make for an interesting reading experience.
Hold on to your butts.
There's the 3 books, Pines, Wayward, and The Last Town. Pines is a book about a man who wakes up. He is trying to figure out how he ends up in this town called Wayward Pines. And much of the beginning of the book is just trying to get through this sense of amnesia, like he just woke up, found himself lost in this forest, and walks into this town, and it's really quiet and dark and mysterious. And it's almost like something out of a Stephen King novel. We discover that this person, he has some special skills as a Secret Service agent. Over time, you start to learn that this is a very interesting and intricate character who is very smart. And a lot of what happens in this town, he doesn't take at face value, because there are people that live here, but it seems almost like a fake town, like living under the dome or monitored living situation. And without getting too much into it, there is a warning that people cannot leave this town. There's just no way for them to leave, or they will quote unquote die. So that adds a little bit to what the heck is this town even doing here? Lots of mysteries, lots of just like, what the heck is going on? Again, the pacing just pushes right through, and we find out that by the end of the book there's a pretty intense and meaningful explanation for all of this, which I don't want to give away the secret to, but it also flows into the next 2 books, or Act 2 and Act 3. So by the end of book 1, you're finally up to speed kind of on what is going on with this town. Then you understand that it's not exactly something that's happening in today's day and age, although it could be technically, until you find out at the end of the book the plot twist. So that is really kind of a fun part of book 1, Pines. And personally, I got through that book so quickly, and I found it so interesting, and I found that the action was just moving forward. There wasn't a pause where I was like, yeah, I can put it down here. It was really just more of a struggle of, where do I put down this book so I can go to bed tonight or whatever.
And all I want to do is get some sleep.
But all 3 of the books read like that. But I would say that book 1, Pines, earned a 4.9 out of 5 robes for me. It was almost the perfect book. It was so close to a 5 to me. Just the subject matter, some of it was a little bit contrived, but I just felt like, something about this didn't quite earn it that perfect rating. But boy, was it a blast. He's always got some sort of topic that is just on the tip of the tongue of science and technology of today. Which brings us to Wayward, which is book 2. And by the end of book 1, it really just moves right into it. Now that our main character has figured out what this town is all about, he suddenly is asked to play a role in what the town's big mystery is trying to be upheld. And it's really flimsy by this point.
Hey, Ron. Hey, Billy.
Because the main character is figuring things out. He knows who the players are. Even though he's being asked to play a part in this dark secret, he is a good person, and the main character is a good character. He knows other certain characters that have come into this whole story, this town of Wayward Pines. And he's trying to figure out how to help people without messing up the help that he's offering this person who's in charge of things. It's just a really big question about morals. Is it better to keep people safe by lying to them, or is it better to tell the truth and allow people to process and work through this truth that may be larger than life? That's the best way I'm going to put it. for these books. I think that's kind of an overarching theme. Not everything is the way as it should be. A lot of folks are missing large portions of their lives as a consequence of living in this town. However, having life is a sort of reward in its own aspect, and I think a lot of people are trying to figure out what type of life they have available to them despite not knowing everything about the world that they are living in.
I don't know what to do.
Heavy themes there. It's really interesting to see how other people in this town are interacting and what their true motivations and desires are, and I think that's what Wayward brings to the Wayward Pines trilogy. Again, 4.9 out of 5 robes for this book. I think it was an expansion of book 1. Again, it feels like Act 2. It's not like anything new was trying to be blazed, but it was just opening up the story to fill you in on more of the situation of what this town and its people are put in.
Shit went bad real quick.
Which brings us to book 3, The Last Town. The Last Town is the conclusion, the third act of this little wayward town and its people. And you discover that the people do want to know more about what is going on.
What the hell's going on here?
The truth is definitely something that eats at us. Knowing truthful information helps us to dictate our daily choices. It helps to motivate us to play a part in the society that we live in.
Makes total sense.
But this information comes at a cost. And in The Last Town, without giving too much away, we find out where these people have come from, why they're there, who's been in charge of all this, and you discover that sometimes power often corrupts. How is that power doled out? How is it given? People are going to revolt against the fact that they've been lied to.
You lied to me my whole life. It's hilarious.
The consequence of that is a lot greater than anyone would have predicted. However, it happens. And the downfall of so much happens in The Last Town. And we find out exactly what kind of a threat is mentioned from the first book. We find out what all that is. Well, we do in book 2, but in book 3 as well. We get a satisfying conclusion to all of this. Without saying too much, it's satisfying, and it's probably somewhat predicted just based on the trajectory that the first 2 books are going towards. These books were really fun. I swear they were fast-paced, action-packed. As a reader, you're constantly kind of anxious, wanting to know what is going to happen next, but Blake Crouch has really got that down. He's got that kind of running by the seat of your pants feel all the way through every book. I think it's about 750, maybe 650, somewhere in there in terms of total pages for the 3 books, but they read quicker than a 400-page novel.
They are fast, faster than you could believe. Don't blink.
Is this really where I want it to end? I'm curious now about what happens next. There are some major outcomes at the end, and it leaves you kind of having some questions, not necessarily to how the book ended. It ended well. It ended as it should. But what do you do with the spoilers, the survivors? The survivors are out there. And now what do they do? I wonder if Blake Crouch would ever go back to that world. I don't know that he would. I think he had a struggle writing the trilogy. He seems to prefer writing one-off novels. He's often looking for things that are kind of in the public zeitgeist, the what is going on with like multiverses, which is a dark matter thing. Recursion deals with like memory and reality and perception. This deals with kind of like a apocalyptic future based upon like certain technologies that we use. I don't want to give it away because the books are just super fun. I really am a fan of Blake Crouch. Whenever you pick up his books, you know you're going to get through it quickly and it's going to be a fun, exciting read. So with the last book, The Last Town, I think I'm going to give that book a 4.8 out of 5 robes. Again, it just, sometimes there were some MacGuffin-y little contrivances that, okay, all right, that's how the main character gets through that, but it's fun. I mean, you shouldn't try to overthink these novels in any way. They're straightforward, easy reads. There is a show out there called Wayward Pines. I believe it's on Hulu. There are 2 seasons. The first season kind of encompasses the 3 books and fits that well together. And the second season, apparently, I think the writers took the books and created an idea about maybe something further down the road. I don't know. I think they were trying to take it to the next step. Like I said, how the book ends, it leaves some doors open. So season 2 of Wayward Pines is nothing that Blake Crouch has written, but it's kind of written about this next scenario. The show, I heard, has gotten mixed reviews. I'm not probably going to watch it. I hear like the first season was pretty good. Honestly, if you're a fan of the books, I hear the show isn't that great. If you're a fan of the show, great. The books will probably be a one step up from the show. So if you've watched Wayward Pines, then I encourage you to read the books. That's where the original idea came from, and it was pretty cool. I think they take some liberties in the show with certain characters that just kind of don't make as much sense compared to how the books lay that out for the reader. So
Are they better than me?
Not better. Just different.
all in all, guys, I recommend reading Wayward Pines. Super fun read, super quick read. It's not a major commitment like some sort of, I don't know, Brandon Sanderson novel or something like that.
Hey, I'm sorry I didn't see you there. I was too busy blocking out the haters.
If you haven't read Blake Crouch, he's great author. So guys, I hope all is well for you guys out there. Please leave a like, subscribe if you have read these or the shows or anything like that. Leave a comment down in the comments area. And I hope you all are having a wonderful day. And remember, keep reading.